Hey everybody, this is Ro. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have another very special guest here today who is helping us celebrate Second Chances Month. And I can't think of a better second guest to celebrate this month with us. So this is my brother, Arturo. I can't say your name nearly as beautifully as you can say it. I am the worst with accents. But why don't you tell us a little about who you are, a little about your story, how long you served? I tease Adam about the same thing. I'm like, oh, just wait until you can get your hands on one of these, Mr. Nextel.
Yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give to someone planning to be released from prison within the next 90 days?
Yeah, there's so many things I would like to tell them. But there's one thing I think that's is essential. You know, and to be honest, I came home to a relationship. You know, and we had visits, we had, you know, blocks of times, you know, weekends of visits that we, you know, prepared for the release. And to be honest, nothing really went as planned. So I think that's what, if I were to tell someone that was getting released into 90 days or within 90 days that, you know, really, you know, you have to be, first and foremost, open and honest, you know, in any kind of relationship, whether it be siblings or, you know, with your parents or with your child or just the significant other. I think one of the things that is necessary is to, and this didn't even help. It did help to a certain extent, but it was if I wouldn't have communicated as much as I would have and prepared, I think it would have been more difficult. I think what happens in transition is that we think we have our steps set out, and then you get home and your steps aren't set out. And I guess if I would have bottom lined this, what to tell a person that is coming home in 90 days, it would be to have more than one plan. And that sounds a little, I guess, I don't even know how I would define that. Maybe foolish, but, you know, have multiple plans ready, you know, because I went one route and I didn't have no other plan, you know, not only in an employment sort of sense, but in relationships with a bunch of my family members and my significant other. I didn't know it was going to be that, I guess, difficult for all of us. So first, be prepared for that, and of course have multiple plans, and, you know, just know that it's going to be okay, really. You know, I think what happens is some of the coping mechanisms I used to have back in the day, if I were still engaged in that, I think I would have caused a lot of turmoil and possibly even been back in prison. But I'm glad that I know what them old coping mechanisms bring. And I don't want to bring any of that into my life. So I definitely refrain from any of that stuff. But, you know, really, that's what it is. It's be prepared on more than one path, because the transition gets crazy and takes you on multiple paths at the same time. It ain't just, oh, we're going down this road and we're going to be cruising down this road for a while. It's like everything comes at you and you got to try to maneuver through it all. So yeah.
And I know you said that might sound foolish, but I think that is brilliant advice. And I know you and I have very similar personality types, but I am the last person that is going to make a plan. Like, I fly by the seat of my pants all the time. So to get that advice from you and to somebody who's like me, hearing that advice is golden. That's awesome. Thank you. And I mean, down to the most minuscule things compared to that, not that it's minuscule, but we always tell our girls when you go to visit, have backup clothing in the car because you want to get in, right? And it's a very similar analogy. You planning your beautiful outfit for visit, right? You're planning your plan of what you want to do when you get home, but keep a backup in the car. Keep a backup plan because things can go left, like you said, all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You're back. It's okay.
No, I
did something.
I'm gonna give me a second. I gotta make sure I plug in my phone here.
Yeah, I'll just stop the recording for a sec. So last question. As loved ones, how can we help make the transition easier? What is one thing you wish your loved ones knew or did differently when you were coming home?
You know, and thinking back on this, I'm not sure if I even knew that I could possibly prepare them for this, right? You know, when we're incarcerated, we could go through, you know, years worth of emotions within a day or even a couple days. You know, it's a roller coaster of emotions in prison. Man, that intensified so much for me when I came home. You know, and I had some, I guess I call it, and I still call it this in talking with some of my family members or even my my friends that have recently released as well. You know, there's times that I go into myself, you know, in a figurative kind of way of saying is that, you know, when you're incarcerated, when you need some solitude and need to think things through, you know, I would go to myself. You know, I'd go to myself and stop, you know, and kind of slow things down and try to figure things out. So out here, when I would do that, people thought that I was maybe psychologically impacted by prison, right? That I was kind of maybe a little off of my rocker, if you will, because I would remove myself purposefully so that I could slow down and figure things out. I don't know how other men, if they would do that. You know, that was something that for me, it helped while I was incarcerated, and it helped out here too. You know, I had to slow things down. Things were coming way too fast. You know, and for me, it was, you know, if I could have let them know, and it wasn't until they would ask me, hey, what's wrong? You know, and when I got on Facebook initially and I started, you know, kind of sharing my thoughts, everyone was like, dang, why are you so sad? You know, and it wasn't that I wasn't sad. It was just, you know, it was just I was sharing my feelings and where I was at that time. But it was, for them, it was, everybody thought I was sad and really kind of having trouble in the transition. And it wasn't that. It was just sometimes the thoughts and emotions that come along with the transition and reacclimating, it is overwhelming, you know, and I needed to slow it down, really. So I wish that I would have known that was going to take place, because my family was maybe thinking I was mad at them, or, you know, and I had to kind of come back out of myself, right, if you will, quote unquote, to kind of let them know, no, I'm okay. You know, I'm not sad. You know, I'm not struggling. I'm just need to take a breather and figure things out. That's all. So, but I'm not sure if that's what other men will do, or how their transition will be. You know, some guys maybe didn't serve that much, you know, time. And don't get me wrong, there's no one that isn't psychologically impacted by prison. You know, there's, of course, the longer you're in, the harder it is. But everyone is different, you know. So I think if I could have prepared my family, I would have prepared them that I was not only a lot more emotional than what I used to be, but I'm very transparent with those emotions, and I know when I need to take a break, and it wasn't anything against them. It was just, you know, something that was needed for me to kind of recharge, if you will.
Yeah, and I bet not everybody goes through that, but I bet it's kind of more common than not. So a takeaway for us from the outside, or at least what I'm getting from this, is if your loved one needs to retreat to his cell or to some sort of isolation for himself to process through his emotions, give him his space and don't take it personally, because as women especially, we like to, oh my God, what did I do? Oh, he's mad at me. Oh, he's being an asshole. He doesn't want to be with me anymore. I probably shouldn't have cursed on YouTube, but it's not you, it's him. Like you just said that so beautifully. Nobody escapes this without any kind of psychological, or without any psychological issues that stem from it. So just let him process. I love that. Okay. So I have one bonus question for you. And then I have two more questions that we got from a subscriber who wanted me to ask these specifically to you. Are you okay on time, or do you want to do this another time? Okay.
No,
so
I'm good.
Okay, so thanks. So what is let's see, I just want to word this the right way. What's the best purchase of $100 or less that you made within the first 60 days of your release? Very specific.
I hope, I mean, to be completely honest, and I don't want to sound narcissistic or anything, but it was my gym membership, $20 Planet Fitness gym membership. And it caused some trouble for me within the relationship, of course, because there's females at the gym. And, of course, me coming home and being a man, to be completely honest, my eyes wandered a little bit. And, of course, after she explained to me that I was making her feel uncomfortable, I fixed, that. But at the end of the day, that has been a lifesaver for me. If I didn't have a positive outlet like that to kind of relieve some of the tension or release some of the stresses of life, I think it would, I'm not sure, what I would use other than that, and I guess that's the only thing I could really think of when I kind of heard the question, mainly because most of the things I purchased, I got some expensive taste in clothes and shoes. There wasn't much anything. Well, there was some things, but that was by far is the best membership and it still continues. I work out minimum 4 times a week, and it has helped tremendously because that's where I do some of my best thinking. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to always be going into my cell, if you know what I'm saying. It's a positive outlet, and without a doubt has helped me through some of my sticky points of thoughts and emotions and trying to figure things out in this transition.
Yeah, and that's not narcissistic, or it doesn't come across narcissistic at all. It sounds very self-preserving, very therapeutic, very cathartic. And I love that. And I say that all the time. And everybody who knows me, who's watched these videos before, know that I am a gym rat. And it's not because, yes, of course, I want to look better. And yes, of course, everybody's chasing their abs. But at the end of the day, or health. But at the end of the day, I need, just like you're saying, I need that outlet to deal with all of the emotions surrounding this life. So I think that is worth every penny and then some. Great one. Okay. So 2 more questions from a subscriber. The first one is, since being released, okay, so this woman is talking about one of her friends and she wants you to comment on it. So this is about the friend. Since being released, his now wife had to be put in a spot where she had to make a choice between some of her friends who had issues with her being with an inmate / ex-inmate, and forced to either end that friendship and or forced to choose him over the fake friend. What is your position and your view on the whole drama with the friends of the wife thing?
Oh, yeah, the friends of the wife are significant others. That was definitely something I had to deal with as well. Even, with being in a relationship, they were kind of reprimanding her for kind of engaging into a relationship with me, because they thought they could do better. But at the end of the day, if they're true friends, they ain't gonna, no matter if you're pursuing your happiness and your friends are kind of giving you an ultimatum, then they're really not friends, because at the end of the day, I want my friends to be happy. Don't matter, and don't get me wrong, maybe there is some situations where they're pursuing happiness and it might be unhealthy for them. But as long as they're pursuing happiness in a healthy way and the person they are with is contributing to the relationship the way they're supposed to, and they're doing everything on, both sides of the relationship, right? If they're doing what's necessary to pursue happiness, then the friend should be happy for them. And that's my take on it. I'm never going to make anybody feel guilty about pursuing their happiness, and nor will I ever feel guilty about pursuing my happiness. And to be honest, no one's going to stop me from pursuing my happiness. We've sometimes come to a point where we have to make a decision. Are these friends contributing to my life, or they're taking away from my life? And for me, I've only surrounded myself with people who have been contributing to my life. I have 68 first cousins, right? I don't interact with all of them, mainly because they don't all contribute to my life in a positive manner, and if I can, don't get me wrong, I love them from a distance, but if I need to come to a point to make a decision to set boundaries within my life so that I can be my authentic self and I can be happy and pursue my happiness, there's sometimes going to be people that ain't going to be able to come within them boundaries and be in my circle. And unfortunately, if someone is giving me an ultimatum, well, then I don't really think that they are contributing to my life, because I would have never, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't do that to any of my friends. And I guess I don't know if I would even try to make a decision for one of my friends, right? So, but, you know, I don't know both sides of the story. There's always that flip side, right? That, you know, maybe the friend sees something that this woman isn't seeing. But, you know, from what I've been told in your question, in your line of question there, I don't know all the details, but, you know, what I've been told, and I say that with a, you know, disclaimer, is that as long as it's a healthy relationship and the guy and the girl in the relationship is doing exactly what is needed to contribute to a healthy relationship, I mean, everybody should be happy for that. You know, it's so hard to find someone that you can, you know, be in a healthy relationship nowadays. It seems like the healthy relationships are hard to find nowadays. So as long as it's healthy, and I mean, that's really my, I think, take on it.
Yeah. And from the outside perspective, Adam tells me this often. He always says, you know, it's going to be up to me eventually to prove myself to those people who are questioning me, my intentions and my motives. But it's understandable that people that love you are going to question the relationship at first, but we're all adults here. And to me, I think there is a fine line between boundaries and ultimatums. Ultimatums just sound so forced and it's him or me and da-da-da. And boundaries, you know, if he is, like you touched on, if he's using, if he's abusive, if he's controlling, then I can understand why those friends will come in and set their boundaries and say, listen, I can't watch you go through this anymore. If it's just because he's been inside, I think that's a little closed-minded, and they're not your friends anyway, just like Arturo just said. Do you want to add anything else before I ask?
Yeah. Definitely to that. You know, I always kind of tell people this, you know, I guess there's this saying about prison, you know, kind of, it makes hardened criminals, right? Well, to be honest, it does just the opposite. I think a lot of men that have been taken away from their families, you know, the ones that are really kind of kind and good-hearted, you know, it softens them. And that's what it did to me. Prison didn't harden me, it softened me. And, you know, there's a lot of good guys in prisons that just made bad choices, you know. And I think for me, and I'm going to be completely honest, one of the things that kind of made me drift away from the relationship I was engaged in is that she was listening to outside chatter, and it kind of affected her in believing in who I was. You know, you can't tell me you believing in me and you know, really not following that up with some action. You know, when someone stops believing in me, that was, I think, one of the key components. So I think if a guy coming home is sincere and doing the right thing, and they have people that believe, and he has people that believe in him, oh man, that guy can pretty much go anywhere. And I think that's pretty much where I'm at. Unfortunately, the relationship that I was engaged in, it didn't work out, but we remained friends. I actually walked outdoors in some trails with her yesterday. So we kind of still communicate and help each other through situations. We split amicably, so it's still a friendship there. But at the end of the day, it was difficult within that relationship, but mainly because sometimes she would lose faith in who I was. But and that was not very good for me, because I know exactly who I am. I worked so many years into getting to becoming who I am today. And well, like I said, if no one's going to contribute to that or believe in me, I need to go about my business, you know. So
yeah, and I'm so happy to hear that. I haven't spoken to her in a while. I love you both, obviously, so much, and I haven't spoken to her in a while. So I'm so happy to hear that it's amicable and you guys are still friendly and in each other's lives. Okay, last question. For real this time. So this woman is she says, back in my country and back in Indonesia, I believe she's from the Philippines, I'm not positive, where my boyfriend and friends were incarcerated, even though it's a maximum security institution and against prison rules. The warden allowed inmates to own cats, rabbits, hamsters, and birds as long as the inmate in question was able to afford to feed the animals and keep it clean, pick up droppings, that kind of a thing. The inmates who now owned these animals in prison and who were problem inmates either with violence or drugs, etc., these animals made them drastically change their behaviors. I know that I think it's South Carolina or North Carolina on death row and in maximum institutions, they have a similar program, but only limited to cats, which from what I heard has been a behavior modifier for problem inmates. Did you ever benefit from such program? And had you ever been afforded the chance to when you were at your worst during your incarceration? Would that have made any difference for you having such a program when you did act out inside? Do you think this can be beneficial to inmates who have no visits or little support while facing unmanageable, I can't say that, lengthy sentences? I would love to use some of my money, resources, and people like Roe to help this sort of program more open to and accessible to inmates in the U.S. Roe, I value your 2 cents also, not just your guess. That's so funny.
Yeah, I think at one point McKean was even considering it to doing the dog program and training dogs for therapeutic purposes. But I think it isn't. Here's what it comes down to, and kind of me thinking about this. There's a key component to taking care of something, right? It's you have a purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, you have something to focus on and kind of give your energy to that's rewarding, you know, and that's really the principle behind the now, don't get me wrong, the therapeutic dogs, it's mutually beneficial for the inmate, but also the person who's receiving the therapy dog. But you know, that's, I believe, is what the key component is to it, is that you have a purpose. Your energy that you're investing in something is kind of rewarded, whether it be by just a little funny thing that your pet does, or, you know, just the unconditional love that a dog gives, you know. And I think that's what we all are kind of looking for. We're looking for an investment or something to invest in that gives us some purpose, but also gives us a return, you know. And I think it would have been beneficial to not only me, but other people that were in situations like that. You know, there's sometimes that guys that find little pets, if you will, injured birds and things along them lines that, you know, they bring in kind of undercover to their cells and take care of them and kind of do their I guess pet thing without I guess I don't know how to say it, right, illegally. I guess that's the word. Wow, I'm glad I don't know how to say that word anymore, right?
That's right.
But no, they do it illegally against the rules, right? They bring pets in and or bring animals in from the yard and make them their pets. And yeah, there is a component in that. And I mean, I already stated it, but at the end of the day, I think it could be beneficial. I think it's a little difficult because when it was coming to Bradford, everybody wanted to be a part of it. And that's a kind of a situation that needs to be kind of figured out. But, you know, I mean, even if you could have a bird or something in your cell, you know, or even purchase, that'd be weird, purchase a pet off of a commissary or a fish or something, right? I think it would be. And, you know, it's just like when you buy a child a pet or even the fish, right? It's kind of low maintenance, but, you know, you're showing them responsibility. You're showing them that, you know, to be kind and gentle to nature. You know, there's so many things that kind of are encompassed in owning a pet, and it's really could be beneficial. Yes, I believe it can be.
Yeah, and just to add my 2 cents to that too, I mean, I defer to your expertise with this because you were the one on the inside, but I could say that I lived this vicariously through a friend whose husband was a lifer and was awarded to be involved in a dog program in a Pennsylvania state prison. And she said exactly what you're saying. It showed his softer side. He really had that responsibility and he wanted to take care of that dog like it was their baby. And in fact, he would bring the dog. He was allowed to bring it in to visit. So it helped their relationship grow because she got to see that side of him and they got to bond over this dog almost like it was their little baby. It was kind of emotional when the dog had to leave. But of course, it was going to something and it's so much better and so much bigger, seeing eye or something like a service dog. But it was just a beautiful experience to watch for all of the reasons, vicariously, of course, but for all of the reasons that you're saying. So I love that. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. I don't have any more questions. Is there anything else that I didn't ask that you want to add? That I would love you, first of all, I would love for you to come back anytime. I know we've been trying to do this for a really long time, and this was the perfect excuse to do it during this month, but I would love, you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to add. I'm assuming there's going to be some probably questions asked, mainly because I maybe touched on the relational kind of thing, right, and how that transition may have taken place. I'm sure there's going to be possibly some questions coming from that, but I'd be more than happy to come back and give my, I don't know what I'm doing, but I might be doing something I'm not really prepared for. But yeah, if I'm asked to come back and maybe speak on a relationship sort of level, I'm more than willing to do that. So, but sure as far as that, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We should plan it now because I can guarantee 100% that you will be asked for that.
Yeah, people out there, and I know mainly they're female supporting men inside. You know, you guys are not only appreciated by who you're supporting, but by the people that are in there with them, because it's good to be around someone who has family, especially when you don't have family or when you have support. Like I was always attracted to Adam because of your support to him, you know, and of course I wanted that for myself. But, you know, I just want to kind of applaud you ladies for sticking in there and really doing and sacrificing and all that you've done for your loved one that is away. I guess for me, it means more than I can even express for all the people that contributed and supported to me. And I hope all them guys really know how much that they are, how blessed they are to have someone, you know, supporting them and taking care of them while they're away. That's definitely, it's definitely a tough situation, but I understand that it's not easy, but at the end of the day, you girls and ladies and men, family members, whoever's there supporting you, you guys are by me for sure are appreciated. So at the very least, well, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You're a blessing. I can't wait to do this again. And more than anything, I can't wait to tell Adam the most attractive quality about him is me. I just won.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure he'll agree with that too, though. We have many conversations. So.
Oh, you're making me blush. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a great night. And I will see you. Well, we'll see you again next